Okay, example 3, we're going to be talking about plugging in some stuff here. On these problems here, definitely want to check your answers with calculator because we're evaluating. So let's get started here. It says if f of x equals 3x squared minus 8, what is f inverse of 67? Remember, that's a y value. So in this problem here, I'm just going to, instead of plugging in for x, I'm going to plug in for y. This, f of x is y, so I'm going to say 67 equals 3x squared minus 8. Now I want to solve this, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go through the process of solving equations, which we can review if you need to. But you always want to add or subtract the term at the end first if there is. So I'm going to say add 8 to both sides. And, that's going to give you 67 plus 8, which is 75. All right, our next step is we want to divide that both sides by the coefficient in front of the x squared term. That's going to get rid of that. So that's going to be 75 divided by 3, which is 25. And then finally, to get rid of the x squared, we'll take the square root. Remember, when you take a square root, you got to do plus or minus. So if I'm writing 25, or x squared equals 25, I'll put it like that. I really want to do a square root to cancel that square out. But when you do a square root of a number, make sure you put a plus or minus in front of it. It's actually going to be plus or minus 5. Let me visually show you, why that works here. So what you want to do is you want to graph 3x squared minus 8 into decimals. Here. Let's see, y equals 3x squared. Now, if I go up to 67, well, that's quite a ways away. So I'm going to zoom out. It would help if you do y equals 67. So if I do a flat line at 67, you can see that there's 2 points where that flat line intersects the graph, right, at positive 5 and negative 5. Well, that should make sense. We got a plus or minus 5. So there's 2 separate answers for that. So that's why you need that plus or minus, because you have parabola, its inverse isn't a function, right? It fails the horizontal line test. So you're going to get 2 outputs. So that's visually why that works. Okay, letter B. Pause video so if you can try this on your own. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 1. Hopefully you try this on your own. I'm going to plug in 1 for the y value. Let's see. Write that out real quick. So in this case here, I want to multiply by this number on divided first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. And what that'll do is it'll cancel out this 7 here. Okay. So that's going to be 7 equals the square root of 2x plus 3. Now I got everything under the square root. So the first thing I want to do is undo that square root by squaring both sides. That'll cancel out the square root here. And hopefully 7 squared, which is 49. And that gives me 2x plus 3. So now I can solve this. Let me write this up here. 49 equals 2x plus 3. And you should be familiar with solving these equations. We want to subtract the 3 from both sides. That's going to give you 46 equals 2x. And then we can divide both sides by 2 to give you 23. And I'm going to check this on a graph as well. Always check it on a graph. So the value of x is 23, just 23. So let's take a look. Here I can show you how to graph this. Again, just call it y, don't call it g of x. Square root of 2x plus 3 over 7. So you can do y equals and hit the slash. And then you can do SQRT. Get the equation already. So 2x plus 3 over 7. I'm going to hit the home screen here to get that over here. Now, remember our answer. What was our answer here? Oh, it was 23. So I'm going to have to go out quite a bit. I need to go where the 23 is. Oh, so not 23. I said equal to 1. My apologies. So I want to know, well, where is 1? Y equals 1. Answer the x value, but y value is 1. So that flat line of 1, and you can see, it's only hitting that graph at one point. So its function actually is, or its inverse actually is a function in this case because it passes the horizontal line test. But you can see here, just 23. So we got that. Again, try C, try D. Then we can pause the video. You can check your answers with me. I'm gonna go over C and D a little bit faster. I won't use the calculator to back up my answer, but you certainly can. All right, C, I want to plug in 12 for, again, Y. So I'm going to do 12 equals 5x minus 12 over 4. All right, we'll go through this kind of fast. We're going to multiply both sides by the 4 down here, get rid of that denominator. So it's going to be 48 equals 5x minus 12. Now in this problem here, we want to add the 12 to both sides. And 48 plus 12 is 60. And then finally, we want to divide both sides by 5. And 60 divided by 5, that's 12. So we're back to 12 again. Sometimes that happens, right? You can check that on a graph if you want. X is going to be 12. So h of negative 12, technically the notation I should use, h inverse of 12 is 12. Coincidence. All right, and letter D here, hopefully you've checked that. I wrote the functions over here to, so I have to keep toggling back and forth, but you should have them on your paper. I want to know what's G inverse of 1/7. So plus H inverse of 3. So I'm just going to do this twice here. So let's do the first one. 1/7 equals square root of 2x plus 3 over 7. And then that's going to be, well, I'm going to times both sides by 7. 1/7 times 7 is 1. So I'll cancel out these 7s down here and just leave me with 1. Square root of 2x plus 3. Okay, square both sides. 1 squared is 1. But now I don't have a square root. So my last steps would be to minus 3 from both sides. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And then divide by 2. So negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. X is negative 1 for that. So negative 1 plus, and then h of negative 3, go through the same process. I'll put negative 3 over here. We're going to put negative 3 in for the y value here. So 5x minus 12 over 4. Again, multiply by that number on the denominator. That's 4 times negative 3, negative 12. These cancel out. So negative 12 equals 5x minus 12. And then I want to add 12 to both sides. Well, negative 12 plus 12 is 0. So 0 equals 5x. And divide by 5, 0 divided by anything is still going to be 0. So your answer is going to be 0. So x equals 0. Now I have that. And that's a pretty simple calculation. Negative 1 plus 0 is negative 1. So your answer is negative 1. All right. Our last video will be kind of putting it all together, graphing and solving for a function. Thank you for watching.